अगर $200 million PSL की worth है, we are only monetizing $50-60 million.
Is there place for dirty politics?
Launching a franchise league is only 10% of the work. Building the league is 90%. Shehryar Khan, Mr. Shehryar Khan, and he's probably my favorite PCB chairman.
Not Ramiz Raja? How do we stop politics coming in between the PCB?
We build our players, you know, यहाँ से उठा के हम वहाँ ले जाते हैं.
Ye Babar Azam, I think we were a little hard on him. Shoaib Malik, right? Getting remarried to a Pakistani star, Sana Javed. Why was that viral news?
Good question.
Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone, back to a new episode of Really Real with Alize Season 2. I am so excited to give you a little bit more information about my guest today. He is someone who has been a seasoned banker in Pakistan and internationally. He is very much the man who is known as the mastermind behind Pakistan Super League, which is actually happening as we shoot, and the CEO of Green Peak Investments, Mr. Salman Sarwar Butt. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam, and thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you so much. My team and I are ecstatic. I cannot wait to dive in. But before anything else, I would love to start today with, if you look back at all these years of great achievement, cross-industry successes, what's the most meaningful thing in your life right now? Something you're most proud to start with yourself?
Materially speaking.
You choose material, immaterial. We're open-minded here.
So I have a spiritual journey, which I won't take most, your time with. But that's been probably my journey that continues, and that's something that is probably I continue to strive towards every day.
Acha.
Fall and rise, fall and rise. Materially speaking, however, my passion has always been sport. And by the grace of the Almighty, I got an opportunity to work with the Pakistan Cricket Board.
Very closely with them.
Yes.
And on some special projects.
Yes. And the big one was the PSL, but I'll tell you a little bit before that as well.
Please do.
So we started when I was with ABN AMRO and I was looking after their retail business. We got an opportunity to sponsor domestic cricket.
Okay.
And
did you guys reach out for that, or you guys were contacted?
so the PCB reached out to us, to all corporates, and said, come and bid for rights.
Okay.
So we went in and bid.
Yes.
And at that point in time, it just so happened that we were the only bidders.
So this was, let's say, up to luck.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Chance.
And so then we landed up title sponsoring domestic cricket. But we told the PCB that we just don't want to give the money and sit on the side.
Okay.
What our objective was to bring footfalls and eyeballs to domestic cricket.
And
Very
how was
specific.
domestic cricket back then?
So, us waqt there was nobody, there was a famous saying that you have 4 people and their dog coming to watch in a stadium of a capacity of 25,000 people. You had only so many people watching. So the idea was we need to bring people
Back to the
domestic.
stadium.
Absolutely. So we told the PCB that this is our objective, and if you help us in this, then we are willing to do this.
Who was the PCB head at that time?
Shehryar Khan, Mr. Shehryar Khan, and he's probably my favorite PCB chairman.
Not Ramiz Raja?
Ramiz Raja is one of my favorite cricketers.
Well taken.
And he's a good friend.
Okay.
And but I found Mr. Shehryar Khan to be extremely marketing and sales oriented.
The commercial acumen was there.
Absolutely. And he had the sense, and he had a very good team around him. And he came to us when we said we want to do this. He came to us and sat down and we planned. And then, long story short, eventually we arrived at what was the National T20. This was before the PSL.
Before, yes,
And
yes.
this was 2003-4.
Much before.
Yes. And we said we want to not have, at that point in time, you had Karachi teams be called Karachi Blues, Karachi Whites, and Lahore Blues and Whites. We said we
Branding
want
ही
to-
नहीं थी.
branding nahi thi. So we brought branding to cricket. And just, for your information as well, that was probably the first time that cricket of that caliber was branded in the world in that way. After that, you had the ICL, which was the Indian Cricket League, and then the IPL, and then
So
the PSL.
all of this branding of cricket was happening before the leagues that we first associate with that.
Absolutely.
Lekin, why did we not get that kind of publicity back then to be known as the first to be doing that?
That's a good question. I think we need to raise that awareness.
क्रेडिट हमें इस चीज का तो इतना नहीं
हमें
मिलता.
बहुत सारी चीजों का
हमें
credit
काफी चीजों का नहीं मिलता.
But yes, so that was, in fact, somebody asked one of the great Indian players that, you've done the IPL and all of that. And he said, by the way, because this person did the ICL, which was before the IPL. He said, we got the idea of doing branded teams in the ICL from your National T20. So when we did the National T20, eventually, everything fell in place. And the first final of the National T20 was at the Lahore Gaddafi Stadium. And the capacity is about 25,000 people, close to that. There were more than about 30,000 people
Overbooked.
And from there on, every year, every match went chock-a-block. And उस ज़माने में there was no sports channel. So 10 sports covered it.
Okay.
And then came PTV Sports and other
ATV
and Geo Super. So
So you saw all these actually channels come in
Oh,
and
yes.
leap in at this opportunity.
Yes, the year after.
Salman, I'm going to shift one thing. You said कि we did it before IPL. लेकिन जब branding, of course, branding. I'm fast forwarding a little bit, but I don't want to lose this point. जब PSL, you were the one who went and pitched it. It was your idea. IPL तो हो रहा था, बहुत successful था. Were you ever scared कि comparison में failure हो गया तो what's going to happen?
By the way, we worked on the PSL for 5 years. So what you see launched in 2015-16
Work
was
started.
being worked on from 2011-12. तो
तो
11-12
solid
से
planning
शुरू
थी.
हो रहा था. And इसको एक दफ़ा पहले launch कर दिया था.
Okay.
Zaka Ashraf was the chairman at that time. And we launched this and we got a response. We had 15 franchise buyers. We had broadcasting rights, broadcasters interested for broadcasting rights. We had people interested for title sponsor. तो वो सारा interest था. हमारा सिर्फ एक issue था. We were having that time, that was 2013. तो उस वक्त the tournament was supposed to happen in Pakistan. If you remember, the first PSL happened outside of Pakistan. And we were getting foreign players to come in and play here. तो उस वक्त एक issue था security का.
वो अभी भी कहीं ना कहीं when we get international players थोड़ा बहुत तो अभी भी है.
वो है, but वो कम हो गया over
कम
a
हो
period. उस वक्त बहुत ज़्यादा था. The only thing that brought jitters to us was कि हम foreign players लेके आ रहे हैं. Are we prepared to handle security?
Originally plan was for it to happen here in Pakistan.
Yes.
Then who was kind of, when the decision was made it won't happen here?
The decision was made that it won't happen in 2013. When we
Okay.
were nearly close to launch, the PCB decided that they didn't want to do it because of all these reasons, and also because उस ज़माने में elections भी आ रहे थे.
जो अभी भी गुजरे.
So वो elections भी आ रहे
Yes.
थे और वो so everyone got jitters and they said we don't want to do this, and then there were other broadcasting mafias also that were playing
Local or international?
international.
International.
So that is an entire
So
space
these are the
altogether.
actual challenges that happen in the boardroom
Yes.
before the headlines come.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you so in building the PSL, what happens behind the scene is a lot of hard work. It's a lot of pain. It's a lot of, yes, sweet pain as well. But
Is there a place for dirty politics, personal vengeances to come out?
Machiavellian.
Yes.
Absolutely.
How did you deal with that?
So it's suffocating, because I spent most of my years in a corporate international environment,
In a regulated
in
environment.
a very regulated environment and very straight. So we really were used to, saying things as they were and speaking the truth, merit based. So that was the environment that I existed in. And then all of a sudden to come into this environment,
PCB was quite a stark contrast, to say the least.
it was. It was. Yeah, I mean, my experience was that there were people who gave us the air cover to do the things that we did. But the environment obviously is not conducive for these. You have
For
to
innovation, for growth.
You have to struggle.
I mean, because you see, there are a lot of different industries in Pakistan where unfortunately politics has a role to play. And cricket, unfortunately, some camps do believe that gets affected by that.
Yes.
Whether that's how a chief is selected, elected, or a combination. But when you step down, and were you part of the discussions of who will replace you? Would
So-
you have liked to be part of those discussions?
I had ideas of how the PSL should move forward.
Because you gave birth to that idea.
A team.
A team, and you were the one who pitched it to Pakistan,
Yeah.
at least, let's put it that way.
So how it happened was that when the IPL happened, we had kept nudging. So since on the ABN AMRO platform before that, I was, continuously talking to the PCB, ये इसको हमें और बड़ा करना चाहिए, और बड़ा करना, National T20 को. So then the IPL happened. So by that time, I had moved on to my own consulting, and the PCB came back to us and said, हमें उस तरह की चीज़ करनी है.
So didn't you say yahi? So that's what I was
So
trying to.
So we said, okay, अगर आप अब ये कह रहे हैं, and if you come this way, तो let us. So we got a few people together, few chartered accountants, marketeers, and some very hard-working researchers in Karachi. And in fact, our office was very close by here, by the way, so historic place. So we sat there and we designed the PSL as you see it today. And we took it to the PCB and we said, listen, this is what a franchise league looks like.
Yeah.
And तो जब हमने उनको वो दिखाया तो उन्होंने कहा कि जी आप ऐसे करेंगे, आप हमारे साथ आ जाएं और बैठें और हमारे साथ इधर इसको डेवलप करें. So we said fine. So we sat. I stayed at the National Cricket Academy for nearly maybe 6-8 months and designed this whole thing, and then we launched it.
Really, from the ground up, you did that.
Yeah, we all did that. So I don't want to take just singular credit for it. There were a lot of people who worked very hard. तो फिर हमने 2012-13 में इसको डेवलप किया, लॉन्च किया, and then it didn't happen for the reasons I spoke about. और फिर 15 में the new management came in and they wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So they came back to us and said, let's do this. So we went back in. So the same product was kind of tweaked a little bit here and there, ratified by an international company, a sports marketing company. तो फिर उसके बाद वो हो गया, तो then we launched it again. And we got a good response. And but then thereafter, yes. तो उसके बाद launching a franchise league is only 10% of the work. Building the league is 90%, in my view. Now, this is a franchise league. Huh? It's not a event. But अगर आप देखें तो आज PSL, I know we love it and we look forward to it and all of that.
Yeah.
But I look at it with different lenses, if I may.
Of course, but useful lenses, because you also know what it could have been or how things could have been done differently and potential here. So looking at PSL 9, for example, what is something you wish thoda sa wo differently kar le?
Oh, I wish PSL 9, जब तक PSL 9 होता, तो I would have wished that each franchise had 10 to 15 different product lines, right? At least. I wish that the sort of money that the franchisees raised in sponsorship would be much higher. I wish their brands were alive throughout the year and not for 3 months.
Not so seasonal.
Exactly. I wish, for example, Lahore, Karachi had, if you came into the Karachi airport, you would see Karachi Kings. You went to Lahore, you would see.
They would resonate with the geography. It's not just the name.
Exactly. And you saw brands, etc. I'll give you a small example. Manchester United is also part of a franchise league, obviously, European Premier.
Yeah.
So Manchester United they raise money through broadcasting. Obviously, they get a share of broadcasting. They get money from their team sponsorship, gate money. And then they get money from what they call franchising, licensing,
Merchandising.
apparel, merchandising. There are 250 different products and services that they presently have. Co-branded Tic Tac se leke luxury items tak.
Across the line.
Across the line. So, ये चीज जो थी ये 9 साल में
हो जानी. But then what I'm trying to understand it, इसका कोई onus या blame की मैं बात नहीं कर रही. I'm trying to have a constructive way forward. Where do we go wrong? Who should be looking more into this? How senior are we looking?
So, देखिए, I think the initial responsibility has to be taken by the regulator, which is the PCB, right? So, I am the PCB, for example. I bring in the idea. I launch the product. For example, if I'm McDonald's, then I launch McDonald's. I bring it to you. You are a franchisee. I sell McDonald's to you. I train you. I tell you how to brand. I tell you how to market. I tell you how to grow the business.
The whole framework you laid out.
Who does it? I do it as corporate McDonald's, right? You keep looking at me. कि यार अच्छा बताओ. अब मैंने I need to train my people. So I hold your hand till you are a flourishing business. Huh? Same with franchises. I am PCB. I bring in this product. I bring in this concept. You buy a franchise. Now it's my job to be able to bring the intellectual capital, to bring all the various ideas around the various avenues, how you need to construct your team, what sort of expertise you need to have. ये सारी चीजें मेरा काम है कि मैं आपको बताऊं.
लेकिन क्यों नहीं PCB ये काम कर रही?
Good question.
Because मुझे, of course, cricket, we are a cricket frenzy nation.
Yeah.
I think 240 million population है, so I was discussing with my team that I think all 240 million are interested. And we're the biggest youth bulge country also, between 16 to 30. हर चीज़ में cricket पे everyone has an opinion, everyone has a certain sentiment, and across the year they're interested. But sometimes I feel one of the biggest, this is my opinion, sometimes a big downfall happens when it needlessly gets politicized, when merit is not kept at the forefront. And as high as being, let's say, the chairman being chosen, or if a good chairman is doing something to take him out while he's in the middle of constructive changes. How do we stop politics coming in between the PCB?
देखिए, एक तो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है PCB का, and there is a patron of the PCB.
Yes.
PCB also gives a lot of visibility to whoever becomes chairman. So there are a lot of aspirants.
Yes.
People who either have power, money, connections, but they want to be visible, they want to be known. Aspirations होती हैं ना लोगों की. तो वो PCB की सीट एक ऐसी चीज़ है जो कि आपको वो सारा कुछ दे देती है. After the Prime Minister and some other people in this country.
People know who the chairman is.
People know you don't know who the chairman of hockey is or squash is.
We don't even know if people play internationally anymore.
Cricket का आपको पता है. तो वो एक so people want that seat. Now that probably won't go away. So to be able to let's be practical here. So what is the next best solution? The next best solution is that you need to put a management team that is long term. Right? The chairman does not need to be the CEO. The chairman of a board does not need to drive the board on a day-to-day basis or drive the affairs of the PCB on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
You need a management team. तो मैनेजमेंट टीम आप एक अच्छी क्वालिटी की सिलेक्ट करें, वो मेरिट बेसिस पे करें. अभी
वो
भी
तो एटलीस्ट मेरिट पे करते
वो,
हैं.
हाँ, तो अभी भी अच्छे लोग हैं पीसीबी में, वेरी केपेबल, दे नो व्हाट दे डूइंग. आई थिंक दैट there are some areas that PCB needs good people to come in, and they need to take those people in and give them a longer term responsibility. जैसे अगर आप कोई CEO हायर करते हैं या कोई मार्केटिंग के बंदे, तो आप 3-3 साल के कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स दें, 5-5 साल के कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स दें.
अभी तो it's usually lesser than that. The
अभी तो
tenure is
the entire
usually,
team changes when the chairman comes in, right?
and once the chairman leaves, the entire strategy completely
Exactly.
revamps.
Exactly, because the chairman becomes, it's fungible. The chairman becomes the CEO, then, you know.
It's a little confusing.
It
By
is.
the way, I really want to know, did you personally feel there was a difference when Ramiz Raja was chairman in terms of the branding of the team and how we suddenly saw these amazing YouTube videos of the players beyond the ground, of making them come across as heroes, showing us a day in their life, possibly all the hard work that goes in. I personally saw a big difference in their marketing.
Right. So
What's your take on that?
I think Ramiz, anyone needs time, right? जो भी जिसको भी आप बनाए ना, उसको थोड़ा सा टाइम दें. तो Ramiz came in, he was making the right moves. He was reaching out to corporate Pakistan, also talking about big projects where he wanted to take things. So us lihaz se, I think he was making the right moves. As far as cricket is concerned, I'm not an expert, there, so I won't be able to comment there. But he was trying to do things like lift and drop pitches and all of that.
There was a sense of storytelling in their branding. You could
वो
see that.
भी storytelling भी थी.
जी.
And he was willing to listen as well. You know, आप अगर रमीज के साथ बैठे, and I had the chance to sit with him and just share ideas. He's very keen to listen and sort of got it.
Yeah.
I just think that whoever comes in, हमारे साथ एक as Pakistanis, हमारे साथ एक वो delegation का issue होता है कि हम we think we know everything, anyone, and I'm
And
not
everyone knows, and you think you know everything about everything.
exactly.
You can't be
You
like
can't.
that.
You can't. You have to, and for that, you need to be able to hire good people or take on board good people who will challenge you as well, right? And let the brightest ideas win.
Shine through, yes.
Right? So it's not about if it's coming from you or me or anyone else.
Do you think we wear our egos on our sleeves? A little bit.
I think we were that's where we need to kind of reflect.
Do you think this could be also somewhat echoed in players?
Yes.
The current cricket players?
I mean, it's the entire society,
Ecosystem,
right?
yeah.
That we build our players, and यहाँ से उठा के हम वहाँ ले जाते
ये
हैं.
मुझे, I think one of the worst things, again, I'd like to, clarify, I'm no cricketing expert here. But मैंने एक चीज़ देखी, जैसे ही हमारे player starts performing, we're all praises.
Yeah.
Let him fall for 6. I saw that with Babar Azam. I think we were a little hard on him. How he was the captain and how he was someone who anyone could write an essay on his incompetence.
Yeah.
Did you think we were a bit harsh on Babar Azam?
Yes, I think we are. देखें, अगर हम इसको थोड़ा सा deep think करें ना,
Yeah.
what does an elite athlete have to do to compete at that level? Now, Pakistani cricketers go and compete against cricketers coming from very progressive sporting environments. तो अगर उसमें ऑस्ट्रेलिया ले लें, इंग्लैंड ले लें, न्यूजीलैंड ले लें, साउथ अफ्रीका आप ले, these are very progressive sporting environment. Now India, look at India.
I was going to say,
right?
I've seen a big difference in Virat Kohli's performance, and apparently he has a whole team helping him
Yes.
in beyond cricket.
Exactly.
How he deals with his
Right.
nerves, how he
Absolutely.
deals with media training.
Yes.
Do you think that, fair, it's certain statistics, he lost a lot of games, all of that, but did PCB even provide him access to resources like mental health support, professional, emotional support when he was failing? And is that on them?
Yes, it is on them, I think. Your player is your asset.
Yes.
So you have to protect your
Even
asset.
when he's not performing, he's still your asset.
Absolutely.
He doesn't become your punching ball.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you have to, again, for that you need to build an entire system.
Ecosystem, yes.
तो अगर वो आपके पास सिस्टम है, तो फिर आप उसको रिवर्ट भी करते हैं ना कि ये ओके नाउ प्लेयर इज अंडर स्ट्रेस, व्हाट डू वी डू विद दिस प्लेयर टू ब्रिंग देम बैक अप, सो ऑन एंड सो फोर्थ. हमारे साथ ये है कि a lot we work with the players,
Yeah.
but then obviously we're not working with them at the level of, say, what England would do with their under 15, under 13,
Starting
under 19.
as early,
Exactly.
yes.
They make them do chess games and board games to be able to get them mentally prepared. I mean, look at tennis, for example, right?
Yeah.
That's a classic example that a tennis academy would take in kids at a very early age of 6, 7 year old. And then they work on their motor skills. Uske baad, then they work on their shot excellence. So they bring them to a level ke, at a certain age, they're perfect at playing shots. Then they will build their mental capacity and then handling pressure. So ये हम नहीं करते ना अपने बच्चों के साथ. तो ये advanced level sporting environments हैं.
Okay, so Salman, getting back into this, mental health for anyone is important, of course, even more so for a public figure and even more so for someone whose life is under the microscope of the ground and sports. Now, with this in mind, in today's day of social media, where everyone with a smartphone has an opinion, and they believe it's the expert opinion, how do we protect our national assets, our sportsmen, not just cricketers, but our assets, when there is relentless social media trolling? And you can give an aspirational answer.
Yeah, I think there has to be, if there is social media trolling and I'm not Gen whatever, right?
Z, they call it, but there's alpha now.
Right. So there's alpha.
There's
now.
alpha.
So I feel there has to be a conscious, positive media build-up whenever there is trolling. There's got to be
Positive stuff come up?
Stuff coming
Where
up.
should it come from?
Maybe the same medium, but there's got to be a strategy.
But something coming from the PCB, a positive strategy to overtake it.
Yes.
Okay.
तो चाहे PCB हो या the players own management company, whatever you want to call
उनकी अपनी
it.
PR हो.
उनकी अपनी PR हो. There has to be that because what we're doing is that when we bash our national asset, so then we create an environment where there is lack of respect.
Utter lack of respect, yes.
And I think we need to keep reminding ourselves that we need to respect people who work hard and represent us at the highest level and win laurels for us. Not every time will they be able to win those laurels. Not every time will they be able to perform. इंसान है, वो इंसान ऊपर भी जाता है, नीचे भी जाता है. तो
और ये जो इंसान काफी हद तक हैं, a lot of them have come from not nothing, but not a lot also.
Of course.
Have we supported them in their upward journey, in their grooming? Probably not.
We haven't. When they were struggling, we haven't.
Yes.
We have garlanded them when they have done well for us.
When
right?
it suits our national identity, they are our heroes and our commercial endorsement deals.
Correct.
And increasingly, social media पे instant होता है और वो virality का concept होता है. So we also tend to see more of the negative things because people share it.
Yes.
Recently, there have been a couple of incidents where, let's say, Shoaib Malik, right, getting remarried to a Pakistani star, Sana Javed. Why was that viral news? It's marriage, right? Everyone gets married. A lot of people get second, third, fourth.
Sure.
They were walking the stadium and they were calling Sana Javed Sania Mirza to the point where she turned back and gave a look. That also was criticized.
Yes.
Babar Azam being catcalled, and people are talking about how he threw the plastic bottle. Is there any way out? Can we do anything for their mental health, for their self-respect?
Again, I think there has to be enough, if I may, backlash from a positive backlash. We need to speak up and say, this is not accepted.
Yes.
Right?
And I feel even one person's post saying this is not acceptable has the power to snowball.
Absolutely. So, and we need to do that, right?
Yes.
Shoaib Malik gets married again. What's the big deal? Right?
And so what if
Why
it's
are we
someone
making-
from the star? Why are we coming up with inka kuch pehle se tha? Who are we to decide?
Yes.
Who has proof? Who needs proof? मतलब, who are we?
Exactly.
And this happened with, I mean, not just cricket, but media में तो चले होता रहता है.
Unfortunate, right? It also देखिए एक शऊर बिल्ड करने की ज़रूरत है.
National शऊर.
National शऊर. तो वो शऊर all the way from stopping at the signal. That's also
Or
शऊर.
not littering on that street.
Or not littering on the street. And so वो हमें I think as a ये बड़ा अच्छा point है आपका. I think we need to take this up as a national cause.
And I think we need to have more conversations like this. We shouldn't shy away from such conversations.
Not at all. And तो वो respectful handling, I think respect plays a very big part. एक, and number two, speaking the truth.
Truth, yeah. Integrity.
Absolutely. हुसन से बात करें और सच बोलें. ये दो चीजें अगर हम
But सच बोलने से आपने देखे nationally और individually, when I say nationally, of course we are part of it, हम सच बोलने से बहुत डरते हैं. But झूठ बोलने से बहुत ज़्यादा एक confidence आ जाता है. The chest opens up.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah.
But one thing I have a very solid belief in. कि
Tell
अगर
me.
आप झूठ बोलेंगे ना, तो it'll come to bite you. That's how the system works.
Long term.
The almighty system works like that.
I don't know. I think it's a good time to tell people watching that Salman Bhai's undergrad was in economics and religious philosophy. इसलिए मैं national शऊर की बातें कर रही थी क्योंकि आपका जो philosophical या religious philosophy की background है, it gives you really expert insight into why Pakistanis can act like this.
Yeah, I think we haven't spent enough resources on our people as well, right? In more progressive societies, every kid goes to school.
Yes.
Schooling is free and is provided not just with schooling but with nurturing. So the product that comes out has a certain mindset. हमने नहीं लगाया ना वो अपने लोगों के ऊपर, तो उसका product भी हमें नज़र आता है. So, I will never point fingers to the people. Right.
We are the people,
We are the
which is why we're having these conversations.
Exactly.
Because one of the reasons why we wanted to go ahead with, this platform, this podcast, was to have not just really real conversation, but authentic ones.
Yes.
And it's another thing that I've also seen, and I do want your opinion on this, is everyone wants to get into cricket, but not always from the cricketing side. How does one, even if there's a student watching and they want to get into the sports management side, how do they contact PCB? क्या आप online job apply करते हैं? If someone's dream is I want to work for PCB, how online जाएंगे? Do they need a network, कोई referral?
देखें, एक तो ये है कि PCB, it really depends on, when you talk about sports and sports management, PCB is probably not the place to go to for that, right? I'll tell you why.
Do we have any alternative that we can look at for a
Yeah,
case study?
I'll tell you why I'm saying that. Because if you look at the global model of sports management, it's with the franchisees. It's with Manchester United. It's with, it's with Arsenal. It's with New York Yankees. These are by themselves huge enterprises, right? तो अगर आप स्पोर्ट्स मैनेजमेंट करना चाहते हैं और रियल वैल्यू ऐड करना चाहते हैं, तो try and get out of the country first.
To study or to get international work
and to
experience?
get exposure.
Okay, fine.
Right? So,
fine.
take that route because you will learn a lot. Because those are already existing existing ecosystems that are way ahead, right?
So you learn and then you come back and you can apply that.
Yeah. Then
Which
come
in your
back.
case, you've had a...
So yeah, I mean, I came into it with more retail banking experience. That kind of helped because marketing था उसमें, commercialization था, sales था, वो उस तरह की चीजें थी. I had managed retail businesses here and outside. So I was aware of governance structures and all those sorts. So from a management perspective, sales, marketing, commercialization, that helped.
So देखिए ना, when you had that commercial understanding, you could apply that to sports rather than just learn that externally.
Correct.
Talking about commercials...
But then you have to go and, then you have to take that route.
And?
I mean, if you want to take the route that I took, then you get into any FMCG, bank, whatever if you may, and develop your skills there with a view that you want to eventually come back to sport and add value. मेरा कहना ये है कि if you want to do sport and really take us to the next level, get into a sporting environment, advanced sporting environment, then come back and contribute. Because then you'll be able to tell us things. देखो ना, intellectual capital है जो कि आप आज अगर मुझे franchise leagues को आगे लेके जाना है तो maybe I'll call somebody from New York Yankees, from Chicago Bears, somebody who manages that.
The developed ecosystems to come back.
Yeah, to come and tell us how you do this, right? And then learn from there and take it forward. तो अगर हमारे ही लोग वहाँ पे जाके काम करते हैं with a view that they want to come back and contribute, that's a way to do it. So that's how I would. Pakistan में अभी it's really nascent. तो हमारे sports ecosystem is very very new and it's quite ill-organized. तो मैं किसी को ये नहीं कहूँगा कि और universities are not really
हमारे पास ये majors भी नहीं है university level पे. And talking about commercials, the commercial side of things, I think एक चीज़ थोड़ी सी मुझे alarming लगती है. वो ये है that when our players play locally, उनकी payments of course PKR में होंगी. But if these people of course play leagues abroad, they would get paid in that currency, and because of exchange rate, that's a big difference in monetary remuneration. आप brand deals भी देख लें, they get paid hefty amounts for brand collaborations and deals. At the end of the day, money or material how would you say, money value is important. So you think kabhi conflict of interest aata hai that they know even if we won't perform that well in the game, they get bogged down by the commercial success.
So you're
how
saying,
do they balance that?
देखिए, let's split this up, right? When you're playing for Pakistan, even today with cricket, national team is still
the main thing.
So when you're playing for Pakistan and you're training and it's a different level of commitment. Then when you're playing a league, and if you're playing say 3-4 leagues, तो जाहिर है उस level की commitment नहीं होती. That's where you make your money, right? So it's the brand. I'm a Pakistani cricketer, and then I'm going and playing franchise leagues because I'm a Pakistani cricketer. So I'm encashing. ठीक है. Cricket, I think, has evolved in so a player plays more leagues and therefore the commitment is depletes.
That's
right?
what I'm getting at. Bilkul.
So as I feel, as the sport evolves, some leagues will become big
with big money,
and that's where cricketers, the top cricketers will go. Abhi bhi, I think they restrict the central contract cricketers to play 2 leagues.
So there is some level of regulation.
There is some regulation.
Okay.
But I think going forward as leagues, abhi, just say for example, there are the IPL, then the PSL, then you have the Australian Big Bash, then you have the 100 ball. फिर आपके पास ये just next door UAE की लीग आपकी खुल गई है. तो these leagues are paying good money.
क्या एनर्जी होगी हमारे क्रिकेटर्स में नेशनल टीम खेलने के लिए after all of this?
That's the other issue, right? They get fatigued playing so many
Which is
leagues.
only a human reaction.
Exactly.
And
so now I'll just give you another example, but relevant maybe for your audience as well. कि देखिए, football is probably the biggest sport today in the world. Cricket is number 2. But if you look at pay packages of cricketers and footballers, poles apart, right? A footballer gets paid $80-90 million exchange fee going from one club to another.
Breaking news आता है ये तो.
Right. तो यहाँ पे तो पूरी एक franchise जो है उसकी total cost ही $5 million होती है.
Big discrepancy.
Exactly. But in terms of visibility, cricket has huge visibility, right? Not very far away from football. So it's about monetizing that visibility. तो क्रिकेट ने अभी monetize नहीं किया पूरी तरह उस visibility को. जब आप monetize करेंगे उस visibility को, so as a league, if I monetize 200-300 million people watching me today, जैसे मैंने आपको कहा ना, cricket PSL makes revenues of $50 million plus, right? But PSL's potential is to make $200 million.
Big gap there.
Exactly. So when PSL makes $200 million, it'll be able to translate that into larger pay packages for the players. So
Big money being lost.
Exactly.
But my concern here is when we're talking about this big money, 50 million, 200 million, ये जो हमारे cricketers को, let's say the heroes, right, our Shah Afridi, our Babar Azam, Shan Masood, these names, जब इन्हें brand endorsements deals मिलती हैं, and we find out इसने इतने हज़ार लिए, working these many hours, 2 दिन के shoot पे 50,000, all of that, do the players actually get to keep the bulk of that money, or is that their PR team that takes it?
I think the bulk still comes to the players, but the PR teams they get a certain share of it.
And how independent are the PR teams from PCB itself?
So they have agents, right? Each player has an agent, and the agents are, I think, approved by the PCB.
So कहीं ना कहीं PCB उनमें भी there is some level of regulation that they have.
Regulation तो है. But now PCB is also trying to, further regulate these agents based on concentration risks. के एक तो agents के पास बहुत सारे अगर players हैं तो वो उनको ज़रा और करने की कोशिश करें. My view is that, agents को train करें on how to handle players.
And how to deal with crises.
Exactly. So, that's a space we need to bring in more first world education into sport, develop that side of capability, चाहे वो agent हो, चाहे वो event handling हो, चाहे वो marketing हो. We need to import those intellectual pieces back to Pakistan and then grow from there. Because like I said, अगर $200 million की PSL की worth है, so we are only monetizing $50-60 million from it. So how do we monetize then the other 150?
I need another episode for that, Salman bhai. Yes. I would like to end today's episode. Mera dil to hai that I go on and on and on. But my last question, and that's not my planned last question, I've come up with this. How can you suggest we as a nation be kinder to our sporting heroes?
Kindness is something that if we look back at our what our दीन tells us, तो हुसन से पेश आए लोगों से. अगर उसी को हम बांध लेना अपने साथ, तो then sporting heroes हों या कोई भी और individual हो, तो एक दूसरे से हुसन से ही पेश आएं. And it's easy to bash somebody who's not looking at you, right? सब इंसान हैं. तो just I would say just be kind to people because it's the right thing to do. That's all.
And एक last चीज़, you've worked with these people जिन्हें अब हम stars कहते हैं. आपने शायद उन्हें बहुत टाइम पहले देखा होगा जब वो बहुत ही different situation में थे. तो is that something you think should we have more case studies out there?
Yes, absolutely.
To show कि वो किस struggle से ऊपर आए हैं.
Yes, I think ये बहुत अच्छा आपका. Maybe there should be a movie made.
A movie, get our media in to showcase positive PR.
Absolutely.
कि उनकी struggle क्या थी.
And I've seen these struggles, right?
You've seen them.
I've seen these struggles.
And the rise.
And I've seen rags to riches. And I've seen rags to riches, and I've seen humility after riches as well, right? Which we don't show. So maybe at times whatever visibility we're looking for or viewership we're looking for, हम वो चीज़ें बताते हैं. But I have seen people go from rags to riches and remain humble. Right?
That's inspiring.
Yeah, and वो आपके सामने हैं आज वो लड़के सारे.
Who is someone, मैं ख़त्म ही नहीं कर रही, I should finish soon. मुझे सिर्फ ये बताएं, out of all the players you've ever worked with, who is the cricketer who inspires you the most?
That's a good question.
Glad I added it.
देखिए, I have, I've seen अब तो ये सारे जो क्रिकेटर्स हैं, इनमें तो मैं कईयों को ज़्यादातर लोगों को जानता नहीं हूँ, बट आई हैव सीन कामरान अकमल grow from a kid of 14-year-old kid to a Pakistan team player. And, you know, just his journey is inspiring. From other than the fact that he went from rags to riches
Yeah.
because of his hard work. But at the same time, his humility remains the same. Right? That's inspiring. So, with all the fame, think about it, right?
I can't think about it because it's so magnanimous.
Yeah. I mean, he's a global name today, right? You meet him today, he will be just as humble as, I mean, I've seen him before and after. Same. Nothing's changed. That's class.
That's class. And I don't think I can, go up above and beyond that.
Yeah.
Today's episode was honest. It was full of humility. Thank you so much, Salman bhai. This was really inspirational for the whole team. हम कहते तो end पे यही है, every week we keep it real, but I think this was absolutely real.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Tune
Thank
in
you.
next week. Take care. Allah Hafiz.